What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I'm Sid the Nerdy Mark, and today I have your review for Raw and Smackdown Live. This is a very special episode of Raw and Smackdown. It looks like we're about to shake things up. So Raw does begin with General Manager Kurt Angle. He talks about the Superstar shakeup a little bit when we get the first person to be drafted from SmackDown to Raw, and that person is Jinder Mahal. Sunil Singh and the United States Champion Jinder Mahal come out and they make a list of demands to Kurt Angle, to which Kurt Angle says, "You can tell me all about it on my email, kurt.angle@nofrickinway.com. If you want to tell Kurt Angle what you think about Monday Night Raw, that's his email, so you can go ahead and do that. Kurt Angle makes an impromptu match for Jinder Mahal to defend his United States Championship. Who should answer that call but Jeff Hardy? Hardy comes out and they have a match, which was not too bad, to say the very least. Nothing special about it. Jeff Hardy kind of playing the babyface in peril until, of course, Mahal goes for the Khallas, which Hardy counters into a twist of fate. Swanton bomb, 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy is your new United States Champion. There is a God up there. Thank you, Jeff Hardy, for taking the title off of Jinder. I used to love Jeff Hardy when I was a kid, and now I love him even more. So thank you for that. Up next, we have Bayley versus Sasha Banks, another episode in their never-ending saga of being best frenemies. Typical Bayley versus Sasha match, nothing too special here as well. Sasha being the abusive boyfriend once again, and telling Bayley that she should have raised her hand, and she keeps slapping her. Bayley responds with slaps back. They keep slapping each other. They keep beating each other up. And it looks like Sasha is going to make Bayley tap to the bank statement. But then the Riot Squad come out and completely tarnish this entire thing. So once again, we have no conclusion to this feud. The Riot Squad are here from SmackDown Live. They're the next people to be drafted from SmackDown to Raw. We have another match. There's 3 matches in a row. No promos in the middle. We just have 3 matches in a row. We have the Authors of Pain versus Heath Slater and Rhino once again. And long story short, this is a squash match, as it should be. So, great match. Authors of Pain are fantastic, as usual. Now, it is time for the latest installment of Miz TV. And Miz introduces the latest addition to the Raw roster. Correction, latest addition. So there's 2 of them. And those 2 are Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They come out. They tease an alliance between the Miz, the Miztourage, and KO and Sami, when Kurt Angle intervenes and says, "What the heck are you 2 doing here? You both had a match last week, which both of you lost via countout, so there is no way that you should be allowed in Monday Night Raw." When Sami Zayn pulls out an email and puts on his old grandpa reading glasses, and he basically reads the email from Stephanie McMahon saying that she has overruled Kurt Angle's decision because of their performance. So Kevin and Sami are officially part of the Raw roster. This leads Kurt Angle to draft The Miz over to SmackDown without the Miztourage, and as his final match on Monday Night Raw, The Miz, the Miztourage, Kevin and Sami will all team up to take on the team of Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, and a mystery partner, which will be the last member of Monday Night Raw from the Superstar shakeup. I have the final round of the tag team eliminator. Woken, Matt Hardy, and Bray Wyatt taking on the Revival, and a very good match. All 4 members doing fantastic work in the ring. The Revival doing a great job of separating the ring in half, as the announcers say. So that was a good match. But ultimately, the match does end when Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt hit a assisted twist of fate, which kind of looks weird. I kind of like the whole Sister Abigail, the twist of fate better. That looked kind of cooler. Matt Hardy has one of the guys in the twist of fate position, and Bray Wyatt holds his legs, and they do the twist of fate onto Dawson or Wilder, one of those guys. And of course, 1, 2, 3, Matt and Bray win the tag team eliminator, and they will go on to Saudi Arabia to face Sheamus and Cesaro at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Our next match of the night is Ember Moon versus Mickie James with Nia Jackson commentary. And she was supposed to be joined by Alexa Bliss, but Alexa Bliss doesn't make it. As a matter of fact, she gets on a picture-in-picture interview saying that she's scared of Nia Jax because Nia Jax has been a bully, so she doesn't want to risk her safety to be out there. Which, of course, Nia Jax is doing commentary all by herself. She's not nearly as good as Alexa is on commentary, but, you know, she does her best. But the match itself was really good. Ember and Mickie, both undeniable talents in the ring, so I have no complaints whatsoever. This was a good match, which does end with Ember Moon hitting the Eclipse on Mickie James and winning. Our latest member of the Raw roster as a result of the Superstar shakeup is Dolph Ziggler. He comes out, he's cutting a promo, saying that, you know, he's been here before, but something's changed. Before he can continue, he's interrupted by Titus Worldwide. No, I'm not going to do it. They basically offer him a spot on their team, to which Ziggler does refuse. He says, you know, I appreciate the offer, but what I was trying to say is I didn't come alone. And who did he come to Raw with? That's right, Drew McIntyre. That's right, Drew McIntyre is cleared. He is back from injury, and he is on Monday Night Raw, which I think was a great move because bringing him back to NXT and then putting him to Raw makes no sense. I think he's done everything he can on NXT, so it's time for him to move up. So this was great. Welcome to Monday Night Raw, Drew McIntyre. And they do beat up Titus Worldwide, besides Dana Brooke, because, you know, we can't do that. They have this really cool double team maneuver, which is basically the zigzag and the claymore combination. That looks really cool, actually. So that's pretty cool. So Dolph and Drew are a tag team, which I'm okay with. I mean, Dolph definitely needs something to do, and if it's basically using Drew McIntyre as like his bodyguard who kind of does the dirty work for him, that'd be cool. Definitely would be cool to see a match between them in the future. Drew and Dolph can break up. They can have a match. Hopefully Drew stays heel and Dolph turns face, because heel Ziggler, not so good. We now have our customary Roman Reigns promo. He comes out, continues to talk about Saudi Arabia, how he's going to face Brock Lesnar in a steel cage match, and he's going to beat him up, and he's going to be the Universal Champion. You know, a credit to Roman, at least he's not whining as much. But still, after Mania, they really haven't been booking him properly. I am sorry. I'm just not able to get behind it. But Samoa Joe interrupts again and basically puts over Brock Lesnar via a video package. Like, he's like, you know, I got some footage of what Brock Lesnar's done to you over the years. So we see, like, all the way from SummerSlam to Mania 34, the devastation that Lesnar has caused to Roman Reigns, which is very neatly put together and edited together by Samoa Joe. He's a damn good editor. Joe, if you can tell me what editing software you use, that would be great. I'd like to use that and maybe spruce up my videos a little bit more. Joe says, Brock Lesnar is going to beat you, and then I'm going to be waiting for you at Backlash. It's basically the same promo as last week. But this time, Roman Reigns gets on the mic and he says, why don't you show me what you're made of? Why don't you bring your fat ass in this ring? I'm okay with fat shaming in wrestling. As long as it's done by a heel, it makes more sense. Like, when AJ Styles was calling Kevin Owens Cartman or whatever from South Park, that was weird because AJ was a babyface and Kevin Owens is a heel. So here again, we have a face fat shaming a heel when it should be the other way around, because that makes more sense. Like when Nia Jax was being fat shamed by Alexa Bliss, that makes sense because Alexa Bliss is a dastardly heel, and of course Jax is a babyface. So I'm okay with it. I just make sure the right people do it. So Samoa Joe does tease that he's going to get in the ring, but he's like, I'm going to fight you at my time. So earlier on, we had a segment between Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. So Ronda and Kurt are talking, and then who should step into Kurt's office but Natalya? She is the newest member of the Monday Night Raw roster. Ronda and Natalya hug it out because they are good friends. Ronda did train with Natalya to get into the ring, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. So this leads to a match between Natalya and Mandy Rose of Absolution. Natalya does win with the sharpshooter, and then Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville beat up on Natalya, and Ronda Rousey comes out to make the save. She starts beating up Sonya Deville. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come. It looks like Ronda Rousey's next program after Mania is going to be with Natalya, because Natalya had this kind of envious look on her face, because it was like a kind of like very heelish kind of a look on her face, like, oh, you know, I didn't need your help, you know, how dare you come out and help me, kind of like that. So we'll see where the storyline goes. I'm actually looking forward to it, but this was a good segment, not a bad match, kind of a squash, but it was okay. Backtracking just a little bit again, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are celebrating in the ring. Sheamus and Cesaro were actually on commentary, and then after the match, they get up and go to the back. They're greeted by the Fashion Police, aka Brazongo, who write them tickets for wearing skirts. So this leads to a match later on, and we're going to talk about that right now. So this was not a bad match. I did enjoy this quite a bit. And the match does end with Tyler Breeze and Fandango being victorious over the Bar. It is time for the main event of Monday Night Raw. We have The Miz, The Miztourage, and Kevin and Sami versus the team of Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, and the newest member of Monday Night Raw, Bobby Roode, which is actually a good thing because they did absolutely nothing with him on SmackDown. I know he got the U.S. title, but his reign was pretty short. If they had, gone on with it after Fastlane, that would have been much better. But so Bobby Roode is officially part of Monday Night Raw. This is a pretty crazy match just because there's like so many people in this match. But it does end when Braun Strowman and Miz are in the ring. Miz tries to tag his Miztourage buddies, but they leave him. They abandon him. This is his last match on Monday Night Raw, so they're like, well, see you later. You're no longer our boss anymore. So the match does end with Braun Strowman hitting the running power slam onto The Miz, 1, 2, 3. That's the end of The Miz in Monday Night Raw. And by the way, I did forget to mention that it was a special request that Miz come to SmackDown Live. It was requested by Daniel Bryan that they draft Miz over to SmackDown. So I'm glad to see that. I'm excited to see where that match goes. I know they've been kind of feuding for a little bit, and Daniel Bryan really wanted to punch him in the face for a long time. So he'll get that opportunity. So I'm excited for Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Let's see where this story goes. SmackDown Live begins with WWE Champion AJ Styles. He's calling out Shinsuke Nakamura on the mic. He tells him to come out here and face him like a man. But instead, out comes Rusev Day. That's right, Aiden English and Rusev. They come out, and Rusev challenges AJ to a match, which is pretty quick because AJ does manage to quickly lock in the calf crusher on Rusev. This is broken up by Aiden English, so the match ends in a disqualification. So Rusev and Aiden are beating up on AJ when Daniel Bryan comes out to make the save. So this prompts SmackDown Live General Manager Paige to make a tag team match, Holla Holla, AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan versus Rusev Day, and that will be the main event. Alright everyone, so apologies, I forgot to talk about the Shelton Benjamin versus Jeff Hardy match, but that was a good match. Before the match, Benjamin was cutting a promo as his partner Chad Gable is on Monday Night Raw. He says he doesn't need him, and he never needed him, and that Chad Gable needed Shelton instead. But anyway, so Randy Orton comes out because Shelton Benjamin wants a challenge. Randy Orton comes out, but of course he's answered by Jeff Hardy instead, and Jeff Hardy wins the match. There's someone was watching me record. Jeff Hardy wins the match pretty quickly with a swanton. And it was a good match. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. So I'll be honest, I don't remember exactly when this happened, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about this right now before I forget. But The Miz did appear via satellite. He says, "Who wants to see Daniel Bryan punch me in the face?" And the crowd goes wild. But he says, "Not tonight, because I'm here in Hollywood with my wife and my daughter. So I will be there next week." We now have a match between Harper and Jey Uso, and this was pretty much a squash match. The Bludgeon Brothers then beat up on Jimmy and Jey Uso after the match. This prompts Naomi to come out and try to protect her husband from any further harm, or aka basically getting killed by the Bludgeon Brothers. She pleads with the Bludgeon Brothers to spare her husband. They show some temporary mercy, as Corey Graves put it, and they walk off. So this was cool. Again, Bludgeon Brothers show why they're awesome. Again, they're never going to stop being awesome. We now have Sin Cara in the ring. Good to see that he's still working. And he's waiting for his opponent because they're about to have a match. Who should be his opponent? Samoa Joe from Monday Night Raw. He comes out and squashes Sin Cara with the Coquina Clutch. And then he cuts a promo and basically sets up programs in the future with Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Daniel Bryan. So I'm excited about that. And then, of course, he says that he's going to defeat Seth Rollins at Saudi Arabia for the IC title. And then he's going to rip the Universal title off of Roman Reigns' hands should he beat Brock Lesnar. We did then have a segment backstage. Renee Young is interviewing Daniel Bryan as to why he saved AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan says that he respects AJ Styles and he wants to have a match with him one time without getting interrupted. And he gets interrupted with his interview by a returning Big Cass, and Big Cass calls him a little man and basically doesn't understand what the fuss is all about. So setting up a program between those two. And now we have the Mellabration. Carmella, the new SmackDown Live Women's Champion, comes out to celebrate, and she reprimands the fans who are chanting "You deserve it," because no one was behind her apparently. She did it all on her own. No, you did not. And she deserves all the credit and whatnot. So she, of course, also does show a package of her journey getting in here. My God, Samoa Joe and Carmella are two really good editors. So can someone please tell me what editing software they're using, because I would love to use that. Carmella continues to celebrate. She's interrupted by Charlotte Flair, who comes out and says that you didn't win by yourself. You had the help of Ellsworth. She's interrupted by the Iconics, who make fun of her. This prompts Charlotte to get angry again and try to beat up the Iconics, but they start beating her up, and out comes Becky Lynch to make the save. We actually learned in a Instagram video that she was eating quinoa while she was watching this, and she put it down and she said, "No one ate my quinoa." And this leads to a match between Charlotte and Billie Kay. So Charlotte versus Billie Kay. This is a pretty decent match, pretty quick match, more or less. Charlotte locks in the figure eight. Billie Kay taps out almost instantly. Carmella and Peyton Royce come in and beat up on Becky Lynch and Charlotte. But who makes the save but Asuka? Asuka comes out and evens out the odds. So what are we not following up on Charlotte ending the streak? I hope we are. Holla holla players, it's time for our main event. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan versus Rusev Day. So now this was a pretty good match. Goes on for a little bit. AJ's getting beaten up for the most part. He does tag in Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan basically is on fire. And we think that the faces are going to win when a wild Shinsuke appears and low blows AJ Styles. It's super effective. Daniel Bryan is distracted by this, but he sees that Big Cass is in the ring. Big Cass hits Bryan with a big boot. Nakamura walks towards the back. Renee Young asks him, "Why did you do that again?" Nakamura responds with, "Sorry, no speak English once again." Before I tell you about what I thought about the show, there were some superstars in the Superstar Shakeup that didn't make an appearance on TV. So I'm going to mention them right now. So on Raw, we had Chad Gable, the aforementioned Chad Gable. The Ascension were moved on to Monday Night Raw. And Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley, as well as Baron Corbin. And on SmackDown, we had a lot of call-ups as well. We had, of course, The Miz, who technically didn't make a TV appearance, even though it was via satellite. And then we, of course, have Sanity minus Nikki Cross, so I'm surprised to see that she's not going to be there. But then we also have Andrade Cien Almas, who is going to be on SmackDown Live. And then, of course, through a backstage segment, we did have R-Truth making his draft over to SmackDown Live. So those were some of the people that they missed out. If I missed out any, let me know in the comment section below. Overall, I did enjoy both shows. I think they both had some really good picks. I did see online a lot of people do think that SmackDown won the Superstar Shakeup. Personally, I'm not going to make an opinion on that just because it's not about what superstars you got, it's about how you book them. Both rosters look very stacked at the moment, but how are they going to book them? That's what I'm more interested in. So going forward, let's see how they treat all these superstars. So those are my final thoughts on Raw and SmackDown, the Superstar Shakeup edition. But let me know what you guys thought about this week's Raw and SmackDown in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Until next time, this is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.